Julia Manchester from The Hill has some thoughts as well. Tom, sharing these numbers with 65% of respondents to the poll saying President Biden should face that primary challenge, a member of his own party running against him. It's really rare. And the biggest issue has been a lack of options of, who would it be is one question. And would that be seen as fracturing the Democratic Party?
Yeah, good morning, Adrienne. I think that the first question is the prime question. Who would it be? We already have two Democratic primary challengers, Robert F. Kennedy and Marianne Williamson. And although Robert F. Kennedy has gained double-digit support in polling, he hasn't gotten enough traction to really pose a serious threat to Joe Biden. But looking at that support for other potential candidates like Joe Manchin, for example, I saw Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I think the issue for this idea of whether this potential challenger against Joe Biden being serious is the fact that the support is so spread out. No one is really coalescing around one candidate. On top of that, when you look at a candidate like Joe Manchin, we don't even know if he were to decide to run as a Democrat or for president, and that's a big if. We don't know whether he would run as a Democrat. We do know that he works quite a bit with no labels, for example. So we don't really know who it would be. Second question, in terms of whether it fractures the party, look, absolutely, I think it could be seen as fracturing the party, particularly if it were to come from another wing of the Democratic Party. I mean, we have these figures like Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. They're seen as more future faces of the Democratic Party. They're very much in line, I would say, with President Biden's wing of the Democratic Party, the more moderate establishment wing. However, if a progressive were to run, that would be a different story. But Senator Bernie Sanders, arguably one of the strongest leaders of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, or progressives in general, he's an independent, he's ruled that out, saying that President Biden will likely be the nominee.
In this Labor Day speech, the President Biden boasting about adding 13.5 million jobs and slamming President Trump's jobs record. Yet still 40% of voters polled say they're worse off financially now. Interest rates are still so high. Are any of the White House's boasts worth bragging about?
So this is the conundrum the White House finds itself in. Sure, the economy is absolutely growing when you look at an indicator like unemployment. We saw them really drill into that during the 2022 midterms last year. However, their issue is that Americans don't feel in their pocketbook that it is growing. And that's very important because we know that the economy and how Americans feel financially is often a really top concern for them when they go to vote in the polls. So this is the White House really trying to push back through that, trying to message on unemployment and such. In terms of whether it will work, we'll have to see. They did it in 2022, but I think one of the factors that saved them there was abortion, and that abortion was such a higher priority for voters. So this time around, we don't know exactly what the other top priorities are going to be. So we don't know if this, boasting about unemployment, the fact that it's lower under the Biden administration, will essentially work.
Yeah. And again, context is important, but a lot of Americans likely feeling like they do with any administration. It's a whole lot of rhetoric and talking points. Julia Manchester, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.